the paper, how many people by a show of hands have ever heard a motivational speaker speak? Right? And they normally get up here and they do a song and dance like Amos and Andy. Some of you are too young to know that. And then they get down, and then you don't remember half of what they said, but some of it might have been a bit entertaining. Am I correct for the people that have seen a keynote speaker? So I may say something that's so monumental that it may change your life. And I'm just saying, because I work for God, that happens sometimes. So I would love for you guys to take notes. And then afterwards, if you love to talk to me offline, I don't charge for all of my services, especially people that would love to get into mentoring. So the 6 things that I'm going to talk about today: number 1, overcoming adversity. Number 2, pursuing higher education. Number 3, remaining humble. Number 4, minority issues and challenges. Or are there? Number 5, mentorship and the importance of networking. And number 6, never give up. My mom abandoned me at an airport when I was 14 years old, and I became a prostitute on the streets of Compton. A lot of what I have on me are war wounds from my days in the streets. I used to gangbang in Compton, right off Greenleaf. And I spent a lot of time as a kid very angry and depressed. And I'm not going to keep walking around, but I do like to be interactive. I don't think it's important for me to have the ego that requires me to stand in one place. I kind of want to see everybody. I'm a self-made millionaire. I became a millionaire at the age of 26. I'm 30 now. And as of last week, I am a cancer survivor, stage 3, with no man-made medication. So that's why I tell you that I work for God, and that's why probably you'd want to listen to what I have to say. It's totally not ego-driven. I don't even plan keynotes. I pretty much write on an outline what people want, and then God leads it. So that's why I'm saying I'd love for you to take notes. Number 1, overcoming adversity. Standing in front of you, am the epitome of an at-risk youth. I was told when I went to Gardena, one of the last of the Mohicans, that I should take up a trade. I was the pretty girl with issues, the girl with bipolar disorder. My mom abandoned me. That's how I became a prostitute. I did that, worked my way up to getting accepted into Loyola Marymount University. And then when I got accepted, I became a professional escort. I hated myself the whole time. So let's talk about adversity. I want you to write this down, and I want you to remember this every time something happens to you. Are things happening to me or through me? Sometimes when things happen to us, the first thing that we would love to do is ask the question, why did it happen to me? Now, taking it off of a totally spiritual level, what's really important to know is that you're not in this mentor program by accident, and you're not listening to me today by chance. Pursuing higher education. I want you to write this down. The sleepwalkers in the world are slowing down evolution. See, there are a lot of people that go to college, and the only reason why they go to college is because they think that's just the necessary next step. They don't really know why they're going to college. They don't really know what they want to pursue. They think that perhaps the best that they can do is go work for a company to start off at $36,000 a year to retire at $64,000. And I'm here to tell you that literally gangbanging, odds stacked up against me, escorting, selling my body for money, hating myself, self-made millionaire at 26, I'm 30. They told me it couldn't be done, I did it. So when people say to you, don't go to college, there's no jobs out there right now, those are the people whose mindset you don't want to emulate. Remaining humble. I want you to write this down. Every act is an act of self-definition. Meaning, every time you do something, whether you talk about someone, gossip about someone, say something rude or disrespectful to someone, think something rude or disrespectful about someone, every act, right, that people see or that they don't see is a self-definition of you. So probably you should be asking yourself, who am I? I used to think that I was just so big and tough, I didn't even know what humbleness was. The question is, when you guys look at yourself in the mirror, do you like what you see? By a raise of hands, when you look in the mirror, do you like what you see? Let's just be honest. I'm a very honest person. Do you like what you see? There are some people, right, who don't like what they see. I, on an everyday basis, can't always raise my hand. There are some days when the nutty block just comes back out. I don't know where it comes from. I try to, stay away from it. But literally, it's just a matter of shifting my mindset and realizing that I'm not that old person. I welcome you all today to just remember every act that you do, every act, seen or unseen, is an act of self-definition. And so every act that you do from here on out, you're not always going to have a mentor to follow you or to talk to or to coach you or to give you advice. Sometimes you have to be your best cheerleader. And so you should always be asking yourself, who am I and what do I represent? Taking it off of a whole spiritual level. What do I represent here in the world? Am I just here to take up space? Am I a sleepwalker like everybody else? Do I know what it is that I really want to do? Next, that would be page 2. Minorities and the issues and challenges that we go through, or do we? Now, there are some people who would look at me, there are some people where I live who do look at me, and they say, sometimes out loud or to the person they're sitting with in the middle of the day, how is she able to be out here in the marina having lunch with us, as if I'm not a us or a them? The reality is that I have to constantly remember that they're not really looking at me. They're looking at the idea that there's very few of us that are able to really put our foot down, successfully start a business, because everything that you need to start a business is already in front of you. Even if you go work for a company or a corporation, really that's only training for you to start your own business. The idea is not to get rich like Puff Daddy, because believe me, the whole more money, more problems, yeah, that's correct. And I wouldn't want to follow anyone who just has kids maliciously just to have kids because they can afford to pay for them. So when you look at people that you idolize or that you like a lot or so on and so forth, look at their whole life and ask yourself, who are they? And do you really want to follow what they are doing? I want you to write this down. I will stop allowing myself to be victimized beyond what the experience is. I'll repeat that. I will allow myself, or I will not allow myself to be victimized beyond what the experience is. What does that mean? Deal with an issue and move on. Not many people will tell you that they're embarrassed of their own race. But I'm going to tell you why I'm embarrassed of my race sometimes. And when I say race, I don't just mean blacks. Why I'm embarrassed of minorities sometimes. We allow ourselves to play the victim. Oh, I live in this area. Oh, I come from a one-parent home. Oh, my grandmother raised me. Oh, I don't have this. Oh, I don't have that. And the reality is that there are a great deal of minorities who are extremely successful, who have been through much worse than what I've been through, and have been through much worse than what you've been through. And the only difference between them and the others is that they had a drive to be persistent beyond what their experience was. So allow yourself to persist, right? When you face adversity really is only God's way of humbling you and educating you simultaneously.